Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning.
Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning.
Morning. Okay, good. Now, before we start, does anybody have any questions? So you guys are pretty good on the flows. Laminar versus turbulence. Pulsatile, phasic, and or steady. Energies. Now, girls, what we said yesterday was, we says, okay, in terms of, okay, yes, this is okay, the law of conservation of energy was that we may say that total energy was going to be equal to, well, okay, we could say pressure energy plus the kinetic energy. And we can still, that's okay, say it's okay, gravitational energy. Clear? Another thing of, okay, that this law of conservation means that, well, okay, is that this total energy here remains constant. That will mainly mean that, okay, yes, if we take a blood vessel, and let's say it's okay, for instance, we just carry out and say that, okay, yes, this energy here, for instance, was 20 kilojoules. Okay, which is going to be made up of an XYZ amount of kilojoules per of the pressure energy, kinetic energy, and gravitational energy. But saying that's okay, the total energy remains constant. That will mainly mean that, okay, yes, if we measure the total energy at any point in the blood vessel here, it is going to, yes, okay, be 20 kilojoules. Clear? Because we say, yes, okay, energy can't be destroyed. Okay. Now, what you girls will realize, or C, especially as okay for blood flow, is that okay as the kinetic energy, which is mainly as okay going to be directly translated into the velocity that will fall as the blood flows. Okay. And that's why you mainly as okay, we can say okay, comparing. Okay, that was probably a wrong color to choose. Where we say arteries versus veins. Well, you mainly will see that, okay, as in arteries, we have a great speed. Our blood is flowing at a high speed. Whereas in veins, yes, okay, the blood is going to be flowing at a lower speed. Which mainly will mean that, okay, here we have more kinetic energy at the arterial side versus the venous side. Okay. So the question then is, where does some of this energy here? What happens to it? Okay. And that's mainly going to be as okay, our next topic, which is going to be as okay, energy losses in circulation. Just give me a sec. Sorry. Not to talk that, okay, yes, okay, even in the veins, yes, okay, what we have, well, we can say, okay, arteries versus veins. Yes, okay, that would be, yes, okay, greater pressure in the artery and, okay, there's a lower pressure in the veins. Okay, we can probably say that because, yes, okay, what we said was that, okay, as the arteries had a narrow lumen. So, yes, okay, same amount of force of blood applied in a shorter area or in a smaller area versus the veins which have a big lumen. Okay, that can explain why it's okay these have a relatively okay lower pressure than the arteries. Okay. Now what the book actually is okay labels as yes okay energy losses actually isn't loss. It's not that we lose energy or the blood loses energy. We can maybe yes okay say yes okay according to that law of conservation of energy. Okay, where the second part mainly said that okay yes that energy can change its form. Okay, so what mainly happens to us, okay, what is the pressure energy, kinetic energy, and all that's okay, not really gravitational energy as it flows through the blood vessel. Some of that kinetic energy is going to just okay be converted into other forms of energy. We can say it's okay. And so for the pressure energy. Okay. Is that clear? So it's actually not a loss. Well, you can say it's okay, loss in terms of okay as the amount of energy that okay as the blood will be carrying in form of okay as kinetic energy and pressure energy is okay. These are going to decrease. these are going to decrease, but decrease mainly because, okay, some of the kinetic energy gets converted into another form of energy. Some of the pressure energy is going to be converted into other forms of energy. So it's actually not lost, but mainly it's okay that it changes its form from kinetic energy to other forms of energy, pressure energy into other forms of energy. Is that clear? Yes, ladies.
Yes.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So we can maybe, yes, okay, take three, yes, okay, or yes, okay. Since they mentioned three types of losses, we can say, yes, okay, one is going to be, yes, okay, what we call viscous loss. The other one is going to be, yes, okay, frictional loss. And the last one is going to be, yes, okay, inertial loss. Now, ladies, viscous loss is pretty much, okay, as based on, yes, okay, what we'll call viscosity. So to understand, yes, okay, what viscous loss is, let's just talk a bit about, yes, okay, what is viscosity? Okay. Now, viscosity is mainly, yes, okay, we can say, yes, okay, going to be, yes, okay, what we can call, yes, okay, the thickness of a fluid. So the thickness of a fluid is going to be, yes, okay, referred to as its viscosity. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now you may have heard the saying that, okay, that they say that blood is thicker than water, right? Which mainly means that, okay, blood is going to be more viscous than water. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But well, okay, here it's okay, that mainly means that, okay, it's more hypothetical because they say, well, okay, blood relations are stronger. Okay. That's pretty much okay, that's what it means. But even as, okay, if you look at water and blood side by side, you'll find that, okay, the blood is going to be thicker than water, or we can say, okay, blood is going to have, okay, as a greater viscosity compared to water, which is going to have a lower viscosity. Now, I may ask a dumb question. And what do you think makes the blood have a greater viscosity than water? Or let us just say, not just water, let's just say plasma. No, I already gave the answer. So in one cup or in one container, you have pure blood. And in another container, you have plasma. What makes the blood more thicker than the plasma?
Because don't the plasma has more water in it? Wait, I'm sorry. I have to think about it.
Who told you that?
Sorry, hold on.
I never said that. There's going to be some pretty dry plasma. My dear, 75% or 84% plus of your plasma is nothing but water. I already gave the answer unwillingly. In 1 cup, you just have plasma. In 1 cup, you have blood. So why is the blood thicker than that plasma?
Um,
No, Shaq, you let some of the other girls say something.
Mostly water.
What is mostly water?
The plasma is mostly water, so that's why the blood is thicker.
Well, what makes the blood thicker? OMG. Alexandra, would you give me the answer for this one?
I don't really know the answer.
You can always guess.
Um, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. What was plasma?
It was made up of 90% water.
No, don't go into what it's made of. Just give me what was plasma. Okay, 92% water, then what? What else has plasma than have?
It had the protein. No,
Okay, it got proteins. Okay. What else?
that's all I can remember off the top of my head.
It has the salt and minerals. It has the hormones.
Yes.
And it even carries waste. But how come, yes, okay, blood is going to be thicker than plasma? I already gave the answer. You just have to know the difference between blood, and plasma. What is it that your blood will have which you don't have in the plasma?
I'm gonna guess oxygen.
The red blood cells.
The cells. And what is it that cells does? It's going to be the cells that will increase the viscosity of the blood. Good answer, Nikki. If you take blood and remove the cells from it, what is it that you're left with? Just plasma. That's going to be saying yes, okay, yes. Where you can say yes, okay, 90% plus of that is just water. So what actually is okay, makes blood thicker than water or thicker than plasma is the cells. Did that make sense? Clear? Okay. Now you can take, yes, okay, any two liquids. You can take a liquid. You can take, okay, yes, Okay, we can take a liquid, a thin liquid. Let's say it's okay, regular water. And you can take honey. Let's do that. And actually, it's okay, see, it's okay. So we can say it's okay, what do we have? We have water. Now, water that's going to have, okay, it's a low viscosity. Clear? We can say it's okay, we have honey. And please, ladies, that's okay, honey is going to be thicker than water, right? So we can say it's okay, that is going to have a greater viscosity. Is that clear? So we have water in a cup. We have honey in a cup. Now let's say that, okay, yes, we put a straw into that. Now, if you, for instance, okay, if somebody is, okay, suckling on the straw in the container with water, it's going to be easy for him or her to suck that water up through the straw and drink it, right? Is that clear?
Yes.
Compared to, yes, okay, if it's the same straw, same size of straw, but yes, okay, once, yes, okay, drink the honey from the container, you most likely, yes, okay, will have to, yes, okay, you can say, yes, okay, increase, yes, okay, the force of sucking on the straw. Why? Because that fluid, that honey is going to be thicker. Okay, so some of the energy that you actually, yes, okay, use, yes, okay, suckle on is going to, yes, okay, be lost in form of viscous loss. So you can mainly say, okay, any fluid with a greater viscosity will have, okay, as because a greater viscous loss, contra to a fluid with a lower viscosity will have a lower viscous loss. Now, since your blood is not just water, which was okay having a low viscosity, but actually it's okay, is a fluid, okay, at 75, now 55% of it was plasma, where 92% of that 55% was water. But then you have the cells. And where we may say that, okay, that these blood cells here increases the viscosity of the blood. Okay, which mainly will mean that, okay, as it flows through the blood vessel, okay, some of the energy that it started off with is going to be lost as viscous loss, which is a loss of energy carried by the blood, kinetic energy, pressure energy, and so on, mainly as okay in form of due to its viscosity. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Or you can put it this way. Let's say it's okay. That okay, yes. If you don't want to suckle on, we can say it's okay. You have your mouth full with honey. And over here we can say it's okay, you have your mouth filled up with water. That you made as okay, blow through a straw. Blow through a straw. To fill it up in okay as the containers. Okay. Where you mainly will see in this case, yes, okay, you have to, yes, okay, blow with a greater pressure. Why? Because some of that pressure that you are, by which you are blowing, is mainly, yes, okay, going to be lost as a viscous loss. Means it's okay, overcome the viscosity of the honey, which is greater than that of water. Whereas, okay, it's going to be easier for you to just, okay, blow the same amount of water through that straw into the container. Why? Mainly because in this case here, it's okay, no, or even if, okay, if some energy of the pressure energy that you applied and it's okay, blowing the water into the straw is lost, it is going to be lesser than, okay, as the loss of energy in case of honey. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we can take as okay 2 cases of a person with blood. What does it mean to be anemic? Yes, ladies. Why would somebody be anemic?
That's, isn't it like low blood cells?
Low blood cells. So you can say it's okay, a person who is anemic, his or her blood has a low viscosity, right? Right?
Yes.
Good. There was something that was opposite to anemia. And what was that? There he says, okay, if somebody was anemic, it's okay because okay, he or she had a low red blood cell count.
Is it polycythemia? Polycythemia?
Polycythemia, exactly. Very good, Jennifer. Polycythemia. So you can say it's okay, a person with polycythemia, what was going to happen to his blood? Well, okay, yes, comparing that to an anemic person, yes, okay, that was going to, yes, okay, have a great viscosity, right? Okay, and that is pretty much, yes, okay, due to, yes, okay, this great viscosity. That people, yes, okay, with polycythemia, well, yes, okay, occasionally have to go and get, okay, yes, blood drawn. Mainly as okay, you can say, okay, bring back as okay, the viscosity of the blood to normal. Because that great viscosity here is actually going to, okay, you can say it's okay, increase the workload on the heart. Did that make sense? Right, okay. So you can say it's okay. just like working out. You can say, as okay, if somebody gave you as okay, you can say, it's okay, 20 kilos of weight. You may be able to, as okay, lift that, okay, as 1,000,000 times. Whereas, okay, if I increase the weight from 20 kilos to 2,000 kilos, what's going to happen? You may only be able to just, okay, lift that weight 100 times because it's a increased workload. Did that make sense? Okay, so you don't want the heart to get overtired. Clear? So that's okay. Good is good, but then too much good is bad. So that's okay. Greater viscosity of the blood, but okay, yes. It may as okay put okay as an increased workload on the heart. Now what we yes okay. In between these two, well, okay, we can say it's okay, here it's okay. It could be as okay, 75%. Here it should be as okay, it can be anything less than 45%. Where okay, the normal is going to be as okay, 45% of your red blood cells. And a test where they measure yes okay, the percentage of your red blood cells in blood, that is called a hematocrit. Clear? So you don't want it to be as okay less than 45%. But it may be as okay normal onto the 40s, but below that, well, okay, it becomes an issue. You can say, okay, it may go from 45 to 50. But if it goes beyond that, it can become an issue. Actually, that's okay. We have a hematocrit of 75%, which mainly means 75% of your blood volume is made up of red blood cells. That actually is okay. It's not just plain polycythemia, but actually is becoming okay what they call polycythemia vera. You can say it's okay. That would be an extreme form of polycythemia. Right. So a test in which they make sure is okay measures your concentration or percentage, sorry, of your red blood cells in the blood is known as a hematocrit. It will mainly as okay below if you are anemic, and it may be higher than normal if you are polycythemic. Any questions? Okay, so you can say as okay, the greater the viscosity of a fluid, the greater is going to be as okay, the viscous loss. Not really loss, okay, but this is okay, energy which is lost from the energies carried by the fluid, by the blood. Okay, not the energy from your nutrients. Pretty much okay, the pressure energy and okay, it's your kinetic energy, those kind of energies. Which means okay, keeps the blood on the move. Okay. Is going to be as okay. You will have a greater loss of those energies if the viscosity of the blood is greater, and that is going to be considered as a viscous loss. Did you ladies get that?
Yes.
Good. Now we can, okay, let's just put this. We can go on to just, okay, the next one, which is frictional loss. And we can mainly say, okay, what is that going to be? We can say, okay, that's going to be, that's okay, loss of energy. Pretty much, okay, due to friction. And what do you mean by friction? Of course. Is there anybody who can tell me or give me an example of friction?
It's when you take two things together and rub it against each other.
Exactly right. Okay. Okay. They may, as okay, experience as okay, a greater or lesser amount of friction. Clear? So this friction loss here should be, it's actually not a loss. It is made as okay, that's going to be as okay, that is going to be as okay, converted into heat. Now, yesterday, when we talked about the blood flows, or we could say as okay, the laminar flows specifically. Okay, we say laminar flow, yes, okay, blood was flowing, yes, okay, in their own lanes. Right? In which we had, yes, okay, two types of laminar flows. We had plug flow, and we had parabolic flow. And what I said was that, okay, yes, the actual laminar flow of blood in the blood vessel is going to be parabolic. Okay, but we may say that, okay, yes, the greatest speed would be in the center, which mainly means greatest kinetic energy. Where, okay, yes, it will be lower and lower. But that's okay. Up against, that's okay, the vessel walls, that's going to be, it's okay, where we have the lowest speed of blood. Mainly it's okay, because in the whole cross section here, it's okay, that's going to be, it's okay, we can say it's the lowest kinetic energy. Now, why is that? Mainly because we can say, it's okay, this is going to be, it's okay, the blood that is going to, it's okay, be rubbing up against the vessel wall. Did that make sense? So that's okay. Here, this is actually, it's okay, where we have that friction loss. But that friction loss is not going to be a loss. It's mainly going to be like a sum of this kinetic energy is going to, as okay, be converted to heat energy. Did that make sense? Did that make sense, girls? Because as it is flowing or running right up against the vessel wall, it will rub up against the vessel wall. And what the vessel wall may offer is, okay, we can say it's okay, some sort of resistance, but we can say it's okay that there's going to be a friction between the vessel wall and the blood flowing right next to it. Which means we'll call that, okay, some of this kinetic energy that this blood here was carrying, which kept it in motion, is going to be lost in form of friction loss. But it's not really a loss. It is mainly as okay, just going to be that okay, at this some of this energy here is going to actually be converted into heat. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And that's why it's okay when people die. Why is it that they turn cold? Have any of you ever touched a dead person? They are cold. Why?
No blood
Um,
flow? No blood flow?
Of course, there's no blood flow. If there was, exactly. So no blood flow. Now there's no blood flow. No blood is running through the blood vessels, right? So no friction. No friction, no friction loss. No friction loss, no heat. Did that make sense? Did that make sense?
is that when the heart stopped beating? That's what causes it? Because you know how when your heart is not contracting, the blood is not going to the vessels, correct?
But that's when you're dead.
Okay.
Why, Shaq? Sorry, maybe you have a different concept of being dead. So do you really think that somebody who is dead, his or her heart still beats?
No, I was just thinking because we was talking about the blood vessels, and I was just like, oh well, it makes sense. If the heart stopped beating, then it's no blood flow from. Okay, makes sense.
Exactly. So there's no blood flow, there will be no friction. Clear? Because the friction is mainly as okay due to as okay the blood running up against the blood vessel or vessel wall. Yes.
So when you're doing CPR on someone, and you're
Mhm.
like, is that causing the heart to continue to still pump to cause friction?
Now well, okay, you can say there maybe it's okay two goals of okay as performing CPR. Uh, Mainly because you can say it's okay, the heart has stopped beating. So it is not doing that contraction. Now, one of the things that's okay by doing CPR, you can say at least, okay, yes, that you push onto the heart. And okay, yes, by doing so, yes, okay, blood maybe is okay pushed from the heart into the blood vessels. And you, yes, okay, not okay as ideal as Yes, okay. It should have been, yes, okay, had the heart been pumping. But at least you can say, okay, something is better than nothing. Is that clear? So maybe that's okay, just to try to just okay, keep some blood just okay in circulation. Okay. Although it is pretty rare to happen that okay, as the heart may restart as a result of rigorous okay chest compressions, but it is possible that the heart can restart due to that. But the chest compressions mainly are that's okay, are to yes okay, just keep some blood okay, so some blood flowing as you just okay press, and that's why you press mainly yes okay where the heart is. Okay, so you actually just okay press on the heart and okay as push on the heart chambers and okay as by doing so yes okay squeeze some blood into the circulation. Okay. Did that answer it?
Yes, it is. So that's okay. As you can see, it's okay. It is not actually, it's not a real loss. But you can say it's okay, loss because okay, the kinetic energy that we had here was greater, but it's okay, it's going to be lesser at okay as at a farther distance, mainly because okay, some of the energy, some of this kinetic energy here was lost due to the friction offered by the vessel walls, but not really lost. It's just going to be okay converted into an other form of energy, which is going to be heat. Now I may ask you girls, and that's okay, a similar question again. If we say it's okay, somebody is okay is anemic versus somebody who is okay, we can say it's okay. Yeah, that's okay as is, say not anemic. Right? In which of these two cases do you think there will be as okay a greater frictional loss?
The person who's not anemic?
Okay. Will he or she have a greater frictional loss or lesser frictional loss?
A greater friction loss?
Exactly. Very good. Why? Mainly because, okay, that greater viscosity will offer us, okay, actually lead to, yes, okay, greater friction. And greater friction, yes, okay, will lead to a greater frictional loss. Whereas, okay, as people who are anemic, yes, okay, will have, okay, as a lower frictional loss. And that's why people who are anemic, they may, as okay, often complain that they are cold. You can now know why. Because that's okay, there's not enough friction loss to just okay. You can say it's okay, keep the body warm. Or you can say warm enough. Hey, ladies. So we can say it's okay, friction loss and or it's okay, viscosity loss or viscous loss. Okay, yes, are pretty much closely related to one another. Did anybody have any questions yet?
No.
No. Okay, girls. Yes, Shaq, you want to say something there?
Yes, why is it, the velocity has the, no, that's not, I'm sorry, yeah, it is. The thickness, why is the thickness, important to the frictional loss?
Why you mean important? We can say it's okay, they are pretty much closely related to one another. Okay. The greater the viscosity, the greater will be the friction. The greater the friction, the greater will be the frictional loss.
Okay,
That makes sense?
yes,
Okay. The reason that it was, you can say it's okay, that you had to, it's okay, blow harder on the straw if you want to blow honey through it, is because it is more viscous. So that's okay, it's going to offer us okay a greater friction up against the wall of that straw. Did that make sense?
yes,
Okay. So they are, you can say it's okay, pretty much. Yes, okay, close related to one another. Okay. Okay. But yes, okay, still two, yes, okay, separates because yes, okay. What was viscous loss? That was just okay due to the viscosity, the thickness. What was frictional? Thick or thin? There will always be yes, okay, some friction. It's just a matter of okay, as how much. Did that make sense? Okay. Okay. Even yes, okay, if you for instance, okay, compare an artery versus a vein. Okay, it's going to be as okay in the vein where there, sorry, in the artery, sorry, where there will be as okay a greater frictional loss compared to a vein, because artery has a narrow lumen, which offers greater resistance than the vein. If that makes sense. So you can say, okay, there will be greater friction if you have just okay squeeze yourself through something. A narrow hallway or a tunnel or whatever. If you are crawling through that tunnel, that's okay, and it is so narrow that actually every time you move, that's okay, you rub up against the wall. What is that? It offers you frictions. Which is indirectly as okay resistance. So greater resistance, that's okay. More frictional loss. Because you rub more up against that wall. Okay. But it is just okay due to frictional loss. that the actual blood flow in blood vessels when it comes to yes, okay, the laminar patterns or laminar flows is actually yes, okay, parabolic. Did that make sense? Where you will have yes, okay, a higher velocity in the center of the blood vessel contra to yes, okay, up against the vessel walls, because some of that kinetic energy, which is just going to yes, okay, be responsible for your velocity, is lost. Not really lost, but actually that's okay. Yeah, we can say lost as a frictional loss. Or where that loss actually is okay becomes translated into heat. Did that make sense? Okay, ladies. Now just take a short break. Should we say 15 minutes? What I want you girls to do is read on the Newton's 3 laws of motion. Have you guys heard of those? The 3 laws of motion? Newton's law of motion. Okay. And especially let's okay read the first one. And we're going to come back to that. Or when we come back, just okay, we will talk about Newton's laws of motion and okay, yes, its effect on inertia. So I see you go at say 10:15. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, girls, welcome back. Any questions? Nope. We can see inertial loss. Now, before talking about it, okay, what inertial loss is going to be, let's just talk about inertia. But to understand inertia, we need to understand that, okay, yes, Newton's first law of motion. And what Newton said back in the days was that an object at rest remains at rest. And an object in motion remains in motion. Now, the inertial factor comes here because that's okay what he said. Unless a force is not applied to it. And what that force applied to it is going to do is transfer energy onto it. So if you for instance say that's okay, and the object at rest remains at rest, you can say it's okay, a ball, for instance, okay, just lying there. It will remain at rest unless somebody comes and kicks it. Right? Right, girls? If somebody doesn't come and kick this ball, yes, okay, it is at rest. Or we can say, so it is not in motion. It will remain, yes, okay, immobile. Likewise, he also says, okay, if an object is in motion, it will remain in motion. Which means no matter, okay, once somebody finds, okay, let's say, okay, I kick this ball here and put it into motion, it will remain in motion. But then he stated after, unless a force isn't going to be applied onto it. Here you can say, okay, it may remain in motion until, yes, okay, somebody, yes, okay, doesn't put his or her foot in front of it. You may also see that, okay, yes, even though, yes, okay, you for instance, okay, kick a ball and go from rest into motion, at some point, yes, okay, it will stop. It will come to rest. So why is that? Well, okay, that's pretty much okay. One of the major reasons for it is, okay, the ball that was in motion comes to a rest is because, okay, a force is applied onto it. A force of what? That's okay, of the friction of, yes, okay, the surface on which it is rolling at. Is that clear? But the first part of the motion of law, first law of motion here actually explains us, okay, where inertia is, that an object at rest would remain at rest. Or, okay, yes, an object in motion will remain in motion. That pretty much is what is going to be, yes, okay, what we call inertia. Is that clear? And due to, yes, okay, your first law of motion, yes, okay, starts off as, yes, okay, explaining what inertia is. That's why, yes, okay, the first law of motion also could be referred to as the inertia law, or law of inertia. Okay, now we know from SRK our two previous examples, Fiction laws and so on, so that, okay, yes, the speed of blood will slow down. Okay, but there's still going to, yes, okay, be some loss of energy, which is going to, yes, okay, keep the blood in motion. And that loss is going to be referred to as an inertial loss. Okay, so inertia mainly states that, okay, yes, if you are in motion, you remain in motion. If you are at rest, you remain at rest. Okay, but yes, okay. But since we know that, okay, yes, there is going to be, yes, okay, forces that will be applied especially that's okay if you are in motion. So that's okay, slow you down. So that's okay somehow to overcome that loss of speed or loss of motion. There's going to yes okay be yes okay some energy is going to be utilized to keep you in motion, which we consider as okay as inertial loss. Is that clear?
Yes.
Um, no, I remember. And that's many years ago. But we were first just okay taught physics. Or we can do it this way. Now, have you wondered why is it that you would need to wear seat belts in a car? Yes, of course.
It stops you from moving in case of an accident and keeps you in place. Or just keeps you in place when you're driving anyway.
Exactly. Now let's say that okay, you are driving at okay at a crazy speed down the highway. Clear? And all of a sudden, yes, okay, you apply a hard brake. Let's do that. What happens? Okay. In this case here, but okay, yes, it may sound crazy, but that's okay. The explanation for it. This part of your body comes to a stop. Whereas we can say, it's okay, this part of the body here still is in motion. So had it not been for you, yes, okay, wearing a seat belt, you would have been down. Did that make sense? Right, okay. Likewise goes, that's okay if you are standing up in the bus. And that's going to be a little bit hard to just okay demonstrate this other one by having you sitting down. But let's say that you are standing up in the bus. Now, right now, yes, okay, the bus is at a stop. Or you can say it's okay, it is at rest, it is not moving. It's waiting for somebody to get on the bus or off the bus. But once yes, okay, the doors closes and okay, as the bus go into motion. What happens? Practically, yes, okay, this part of your body here, yes, okay, goes into motion. But this part up here is okay, still is at rest. So yes, okay, if you were, yes, okay, holding on to, that's okay, that's okay, that bar or onto the pole, you will fall. Unless that's okay, you weren't able to, yes, okay, you can say, okay, maintain a good balance. Is that clear? So this is mainly as okay, you can say it's okay, the scientific explanation of inertia. And okay, as its importance in it's okay motion. But as I said, when we start talking about it, okay, the whole concept of inertia is okay, is explained in yes, okay, the first part of the first law of motion. Clear? Well, okay, as an object that's rest remains at rest unless an external force is applied onto it. That external force can be as okay, that says okay, the ball, somebody kicks it. Or an object in motion will remain in motion. Clear? Okay. Unless again, yes, okay, something, yes, okay, an external force is applied onto it. Practically speaking, yes, okay, that ball, yes, okay, that is rolling on the grass field. Yes, okay, will come to a stop, mainly because, okay, there are some unseen forces, that's okay, that will be applied. You don't see the friction physically. But it's okay, that's how they explain that, okay, yes, that's why it's okay, the ball comes to a rest after rolling for a certain distance. Is that clear? Now, inertial losses, which is mean as okay, just going to be as okay, loss of energy, or we can actually say as okay, just conversion of one form of energy into another form of energy, but mainly as okay to maintain the inertia. Maintain that okay, as the object in motion remains in motion, which is pretty much okay as what we will be talking about here. Because okay, we see blood flowing in a blood vessel. Okay, we just okay want it to flow, but we know that okay, some of the energy that it carried in the beginning is okay is going to just okay get reduced. Right. So other energies that are going to be as okay lost, mainly as okay to keep it in motion or keep it in state of inertia is going to be okay what we call as okay inertia losses. Did you ladies get that?
Yeah.
Good. So if you, that's okay, go to your books. Everybody have their books? Does everybody have their books?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to ask whether you already made paper planes out of it. Okay, and on page 291, you may see, okay, yes, the third paragraph reads, inertial energy loss occurs during three events. Okay, well, first says, okay, pulsatile flow. Second, phasic flow. Third, velocity changes at stenosis. Can you see those?
Yes.
Good. Mark them. Mark them, highlight them, whatever. The board already has marked them by, okay, as pinballing them, okay? Because the next topic that we will be talking about is the last one, which is stenosis. And let me just put it this way, girls. We can say, it's okay, the discussions that we have had so far from the last, we can say, it's okay, 1.5 day now. We're mainly to, yes, okay, to prepare you ladies for this topic here. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good. So we can say, it's okay, the real meat on the bone. This whole thing here is what we'll be talking about now. Okay. Now we, as okay, as we go through this, as okay, we may come across certain laws. Okay. Now, ladies, please, you do not necessarily need to know the names of the laws or principles. Okay. What is going to be as okay important is that you know their relationships of the factors that are related in those laws and what they have, what their relationships are. Is that clear? Okay, so you don't necessarily need to know the names of the laws, but okay. So first of all, yes, okay, we are going to say, yes, okay, what the blue is a stenosis. Now we can already see, yes, okay, that, okay. Mainly because it is osis, that will mainly mean that this is going to be, yes, okay, an abnormal process. In which there actually is, okay, is narrowing of a tubular structure. Or a tubular structure may also be referred to as a passageway. Now, girls, here, since we are talking hemodynamics, this is going to be as okay stenosis of blood vessels. Which mainly means that, okay, as if we have a blood vessel, at some point, yes, okay, it is going to be narrowed. This here is going to be as okay, your stenosis. But you can have stenosis in different structures as well. You can have stenosis in the esophagus. You can have stenosis in, okay, as your stomach, intestines, ureters, you name it. So pretty much, okay, as if anywhere where there's going to be as okay a tubular passage, a tubular structure, it may develop stenosis, which is just going to be as okay an abnormal narrowing in the passageway. Is that clear? Right, okay. So stenosis here in the case of a blood vessel, yes, okay, is, well, okay, if this, for instance, okay, was an artery, this could mean, yes, okay, be due to arteriosclerosis. Plaque buildup, which is going to cause that, okay, as the passage of the, or the lumen of the blood vessel gets narrower and narrower and narrower, or more and more and more and more and more stenosed. Is that clear? Did you girls get that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Now, ladies, later on today, or we can say it's okay, maybe even it's okay during your lunch break, you will get an email with, okay, as 2 pictures. 2 pictures are, okay, as 2 drawings, if you want to put it that way. This is going to be similar, or pretty much, okay, similar to, yes, okay, what I'm trying to draw now. For me, it's okay, since we need to, yes, okay, discuss each of these here. We're going to do them now together, but okay, yes, you will get, yes, okay, 2 slides, or pictures, sent to you later today, okay? So you can say, yes, okay, this is a blood vessel. Clear? Or similar, yes, okay, pretty much similar to, yes, okay, what we have in figure 18.5. Where we can say, yes, okay, we can say that, okay, at this area here, this is going to be, yes, okay, where we have our stenosis. Is that clear? Okay. Now, just to, yes, okay, be able to, yes, okay, determine which is pre-stenotic, which is post-stenotic. Let's also, yes, okay, mark the direction in which the blood flows. So that means, yes, okay, due to this arrowhead here, yes, okay, this will become, yes, okay, a velocity. When we start talking about the speeds, because we can mainly say, yes, okay, that it flows from point A to the stenosis, which we can say is okay, we just be labeled as point B. And from there, yes, okay, it goes to C, which is going to be post-stenotic. So A can be referred to as being, yes, okay, pre-stenotic. Whereas C is going to be, yes, okay, post-stenotic. Where pre-stenotic mainly, yes, okay, just means before the stenosis. Post-stenotic is just going to be after the stenosis, because the blood flows in this direction here. Did you girls get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Now, ladies, the first thing that we, as okay, can talk about is going to be the flows. Now, pre-stenotically, Mainly because we're going to say, yes, okay, so this is going to be, yes, okay, an artery. We have, okay, as a pulsatile flow. Is that clear? The flow at the turbulent, at the stenosis, actually is going to become turbulent. Is that clear?
Yeah,
Okay. Even, yes, okay, initially post-stenotic, it remains turbulent. After which it becomes steady. And ultimately, as okay, will resume to become pulsatile. Did you ladies get that?
can you go over it one more time, please?
Pre-stenotically, yes, okay, your flow is going to be pulsatile.
Okay,
Did that make sense?
yeah,
Good. At your stenosis, the flow is going to go from pulsatile. Yeah, pulsatile because it's okay. It was there. Okay, it will still be. It's okay. Laminar parabolic. Clear?
Yeah.
But at your stenosis, my dear, that's okay. The flow is going to go from laminar or pulsatile to become turbulent. Initially, right after, it's okay, your stenosis. The flow is still turbulent. Clear?
yeah,
After which it becomes steady. And ultimately, it's okay, then starts to become pulsatile again.
okay,
Did that make sense?
yeah,
So these were your flows. Pre-stenotic, stenotic, and post-stenotic. Sorry, ladies. Pre-stenotic can also, as okay, be referred to as upstream. And post-stenotic is going to be downstream. Okay. Is that clear?
yes, it is, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, my dear.
After it leaves the stenosis and becomes turbulent, how does it become steady?
Mainly because, my dear, after your turbulence, after your stenosis, as long as it is stenosed, there's going to be turbulence. After the stenosis, there's still going to be turbulence. Okay. Okay. Steady, as I mean, it says, okay, still was, okay, yes. indicating it's okay pathology. Which is meaning it's okay, just a carry on of your it's okay, your turbulence. Or you can say it this way. And that's why okay, this is going to be it's okay. This is your highway. Cars are coming. They have shut down, it's okay, 2 lanes on each side, for instance. What's going to happen? A lot of these cars is okay here trying to just okay, get in here. Now at the other side, yes, okay, what's going to happen? Yes, okay. Try to get out like this as well. Right? Okay. Then okay, yes, for sure why, yes, okay. They may not, it's okay, speed up. But then it's okay, just retain, it's okay, it's normal flow. So what we actually said about steady flow was that okay, it was silent. Or we can say okay, no fluctuation in the speeds increasing or decreasing. Is that clear?
Yes.
Good. So yes, okay, this whole thing here is okay. You should look at the whole thing as okay, well, not necessarily work on the highways, but yes, okay. Now the next thing that we will be talking about is going to be as okay, our pressures. Oh, sorry, our energies. And what I said was okay, if you mean is okay, I'm just going to just okay, we're talking of 2 types of energies. Okay, I'm mainly focusing on those. One was pressure energy, other was what the hell you call that fellow? Kinetic energy. But just remember that okay, as your kinetic energy is going to as okay be responsible for the speed. Like I say, more kinetic energy, more speed, lower kinetic energy, lower speed. Right, okay. So actually it's okay, we have 3 different kind of pressures or different amount of pressure energies. Or different degrees of pressure. Whether we say pre-stenotic, post-stenotic, or as okay at the stenosis. Is that clear? Okay. Now pre-stenotically, we can say it's okay, that's where there's going to be as okay the highest pressure energy. Well, let's do it this way. Now, strangely enough, at the stenosis, that's where you will have the lowest pressure energy. And post-stenotically, there will be an increase in the pressure energy. Okay,
Okay.
now I will come to a cheat of how to just okay remember all this. At least it's okay. The pressure energies versus kinetic energy. This is going to be as okay your velocity. Just a little bit. We can just add a little note here and say as okay that kinetic energy becomes velocity. Which means that's okay, what speed at which the blood was flowing in a direction. And mainly because yes, okay, here we have this specified direction that it flows from point A to point B, from point B to point C within the blood vessel. Okay, but we can say it's okay, the more kinetic energy, the more velocity. So yes, okay, ladies, here, pre-stenotically, that's where we have the lowest velocity. At the stenosis, that's where we have the greatest velocity. And post-stenotically, we have a low velocity. Is that clear?
I have a question.
Mhm.
How could the high velocity at the stenosis, is it because it's narrow? If that's what.
Pretty much, but we're coming to that in a sec, my dear, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, ladies, in chapter 19, this high velocity here, this high velocity here, when we do as okay our Doppler exams, will be referred to as aliasing. So we have okay as a whole, I can say as okay, a 1-day discussion or a 1-class topic, which is going to be as okay, your aliasing. But what you mainly as okay, you should be able to say now as okay, where is it that we will see aliasing? That will appear where we have a stenosis. Okay. Why do we see aliasing? Because of the high velocity at the stenosis. But this is something that we'll talk more about is okay in chapter 19. Okay, girls. Now we can mainly say as okay when we look at let's do this. Taking this pressure energies and or yes okay our velocities, which is mainly as okay a result of okay the kinetic energy. Now, what your book says or what your book mentions is, okay, it says Bernoulli's principle. Clear? Okay. What this Bernoulli's principle is, I mean, yes, okay, we can say it's okay, just a law, a relationship between pressure, energy, and the kinetic energy. But where we know that, okay, as kinetic energy is going to just, okay, be translated into velocity. Where Bernoulli's principle is mainly as, okay, just the law of conservation of energy when referring to pressure energy and kinetic energy. Is that clear? So the law of conservation of energy relating to pressure and kinetic energies is called the Bernoulli's principle. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Which mainly will mean that, okay, yes, or where we mainly will say that, okay, yes, the sum of the energies here, or pre-stenotically, is going to be equal to, yes, okay, the sum of the energies here at the stenosis, which is also going to be equal to, yes, okay, the amount of energies here post-stenotically. So that mainly, yes, okay, just mean that, okay, yes, whenever you, for instance, okay, have the highest pressure energy, will mainly mean that that will be, yes, okay, the point where you have the lowest kinetic energy. And or vice versa, where you have the lowest pressure energy will be as okay where you have the highest kinetic energy. Because the sum of these two energies remains to remain constant at all levels. So Bernoulli's principle is nothing else but mainly as okay the law of conservation of energy, but mainly as okay this guy Bernoulli is okay, he mainly as okay studied the relationship between pressure and kinetic energy or so. And it's due to yes, okay, his principle here that okay, yes, that they actually worked on and okay, has been able to make planes that are able to fly. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how it's okay. You say it's okay wherever you have the greatest pressure energy, that's where you have the lowest kinetic energy or lowest velocity. Lowest pressure energy, greatest velocity or greatest kinetic energy. And then we say it's okay, post-stenotically, we have a pressure which is greater than what it was in a greater pressure energy than the stenosis, because that was the lowest. But post-stenotically, it's still going to just okay be lower than your pre-stenosis. It is a greater pressure than your stenosis, but it is still lesser than your pre-stenotic pressure. Did that make sense? So for your velocity, well, okay, as pre-stenotically and post-stenotically, you have velocities which are lesser than what you have at the stenosis, because the stenosis that's going to be as okay where the velocity will be at its highest. But when we compare the pre-stenotic velocity to the post-stenotic velocity, well, okay, as post-stenotically, we can actually say that post-stenotically is okay, the velocity is greater than the pre-stenotic. Did you girls get that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Now there is going to be another relationship. And we may just call that as the pressure flow relation. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this pressure flow relation. Now okay, that was there's a law that's called the Poiseuille's law, I guess. Okay, my French is not that good. Oh yes, okay, sorry. I assume he was French. So that's okay. The Poiseuille's law is mainly your pressure flow relationship. Is that clear? Now, what this pressure flow relationship here is mainly just states is that pressure gradient is going to be equal to the product of flow multiplied by resistance. Now, if you guys remember the other day, that is when we talked about, not the other day, yesterday, as that gradient. We can say that mainly as be the difference in pressure pre-stenotically to stenosis. Stenosis to post-stenotically. Or even as pre-stenotically to post-stenotically. Okay. So the difference of the pressures. Where we know that pressure flow or pressure energy flow from higher pressure to lower pressure. So what this law here means is, okay, indicate that, okay, say that, okay, if this pressure gradient here is, okay, if you consider that to be constant. Okay. That's how it's okay, we may, it's okay, may, and it's okay, establish a relationship between the pressure and flow, or pressure and resistance, and or flow and resistance. Is that clear? So the relationships that you will need to remember is that, okay, yes, if you can say, okay, that the pressure gradient now, you can always choose. If we see that, okay, as the pressure gradient, now that is going to be as, okay, directly proportional to flow. Which mainly means that this pressure gradient here is going to be inversely related to resistance. Which also will make flow inversely related to resistance. And you can mainly say, as, okay, if you have a greater resistance, there will be a lesser flow. Which mainly will mean that less amount of blood will be flowing. If the pressure gradient is the same. Whereas, okay, if you have a lesser, somebody please mute themselves. So lesser resistance will cause more flow. If your pressure gradient is constant. Okay. So that was, okay, as your pressure flow relationship, also is, okay, known as the Parseelis law. Okay. Now, ladies, I know that, okay, your book talks of Ohm's law. Have any of you ever heard of Ohm's law before?
No.
Huh?
No.
No. Okay. And sorry, I don't really know why they just, okay, put Ohm's law in this book here. Although that's okay, this is a book of physics, but well, okay. Because Ohm's law is mainly as, okay, just that, okay, yes, we can say it's, okay, pressure, or we can say it's, okay, resistance flow relationship, but it's okay in terms of electricity. This may as okay stays the very same as okay as your pressure flow relationship or Parsoni's law. But Mr. Ohms mainly as okay study that relationship between yes okay the resistance to the electrical flow and the flow in electricity. So which comes out to the same. So don't really worry about your Ohm's law, okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So just mark that as okay as Hakuna Matata. Did you ladies get that?
Yes.
Now, if I had written this book, that would mainly as okay had been a law or equation that I would have put in instead of Ohm's law. And you mainly as okay may find that in your vascular scanning books. But I think it's okay should have been put here as well. The continuity equation. And my dear girls, the continuity equation mainly as okay will tell us that okay, yes. Why is it that we have a highest velocity here? And you can say it's okay, low velocities here. Is that clear? That's okay. This continuity equation here, I mean, yes, okay, just states that flow. Now just remember flow. What was flow? How much? Right, okay. That is going to be equal to the product of two things. The velocity times area. Is that clear?
Yes.
And as far as flow is concerned, yes, okay, if we say that, okay, as this product here, yes, okay, remains constant. What that mainly will mean is that if you have a high velocity, that's going to be because the area through which, yes, okay, that object or substance, or in this case, it's okay, liquid is flowing, is small. And where did we have this narrow area of the blood vessel? At the stenosis. And or vice versa. If you had a low velocity, that was going to be because it's okay, the area through which a certain amount of blood was flowing was greater. Did that make sense? So where do we have greater areas of the blood vessel? That's going to be as okay, respectively as okay, pre-stenotic and post-stenotically. And that's why you see that that's going to be as okay, the two areas where we had low velocities. Where here, this is a low area. This is a greater area. We can say it's okay. This is also a greater area. Of the lumen. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So mainly as okay, you just okay, you can say as okay, make this whole thing here simple. Well, that's okay. Me say, okay, let's look at the continuation equation first and say, okay, yes, where do we have the greatest areas? That's where we have, yes, okay, the lower velocities. Where do we have the smaller area? That's where we have the greatest velocities. And then we see as okay, the sum of product of pressure energy and kinetic energy, which become velocity, got to remain constant. Did that make sense? Based on, okay, you Bernoulli's. So lowest velocity, greatest pressure. Greatest velocity due to lowest area is okay, lowest pressure. And so on. Did that make sense? Okay. And in midst of all this is just going to be as okay. We can say as okay, the relation between as okay, the pressure gradient to flow. Maybe again, it's okay, say it's okay that this pressure gradient is okay, we keep that constant. That will mainly mean that, okay, yes, if one of the two things that we as okay multiply together is greater, then the other gotta be lower. It just makes these two here as okay inversely related to one another. Where we on the other hand go say as okay, if you had a greater resistance, that may lead to as okay a lower flow. If your pressure gradient was constant. Now, ladies, as I was talking to you guys about okay, this continuity equation here. Another thing that struck my mind. And that's especially as okay when we find this okay, compare an artery to a vein. Because what I may have said, or I will say, that okay, yes, I already have said that okay, yes, arteries have a small lumen, whereas veins have a big lumen, right? But we can mainly says, okay, in the veins, what is it that we have? A greater area. which mainly is okay, is one of the explanations why is okay, blood is flowing at a lower velocity or at a lower speed in veins, contra to arteries, which has a smaller area, which is going to get even smaller if this artery here, for instance, okay, is stenosed. But here's okay, just to compare, it's okay, artery versus vein. But that also explains as okay, why it's okay, your arteries have a greater velocity. Which will become even greater as okay if the artery gets stenosed because the area decreases even further. But that is okay as if you say that okay, that the flow is constant. Or just as we talked about as okay, let's say as okay, the traffic flow. There's going to be as okay, how much, or we can say it's okay, how many. The how many cars per minute is running through different areas. If that remains constant, you can say it's okay, at this point here, it's okay, the cars will be driving slow. Because okay, they are in multiple lanes. So we can say, okay, if we say that they're going to is okay, be 20 cars per minute. Well, okay, they can still drive slow. Yeah, it's okay, they can still drive slow. Or at least slower to here. Because if you still want to, it's okay, keep 20 cars running per minute in this area here, it's okay, where there's any construction. What is it that they will have to do? They will have to run faster. Because there's only one lane, for instance. If they run at the same speed as they were here, pre-stenotically, then the number of cars may just be less okay. Because it's okay, 3 cars per minute. If that makes sense. So whether you think of it or not, things that happen in everyday life is physics. Okay, go. So science is not something that you have to be a scientist to understand. It's just that, okay, somebody got hit with the apple in the head and figured things out that way. Okay. Right now I'm trying to just, okay, save you ladies from getting hit by the apple in the head. And I say, okay, I'm saving you from that concussion. Here's the apple. Eat it. So your job is just to just, okay, take a bite and chew on it. So yes, ladies, what can you see from this discussion here? This is what is going to be brought up again in Doppler on the next chapter. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And this is going to be as okay, what will be brought up again in your next module. I think your girls will be going for vascular scanning after this. I'm not sure, but okay. So we can say it's okay. This discussion here was the main intro or basics for that. Now, ladies, is there anybody who has any questions? Is there anybody who has any questions?
No, not right now.
No, not right now. Okay. Okay. Have any of you ladies started your revision?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from there?
No.
Okay. Okay, ladies. Now, you can take your lunch break, and I'll be sending it, okay, something which is a little bit cleaner than the slides that I just made. I have them ready made. So I'm emailing you those out. Mainly it's okay, these relationships here written in, and more is okay, illegible form. Okay. Now, before coming back after lunch, I would like you ladies to just, okay, know what a blood pressure is. Okay. And another thing, if you don't remember your phases of respiration, inhalation, exhalation, inspiration, expiration, and what happened during those phases, please go back to your A&P notes of ventilation and read on those, because that's going to get handy as well. Okay. So these will be as okay the two last topics of this chapter, which we will take up after your lunch break. And your lunch break will be finishing at 12:45. Clear? So those of you who remember your breathing and respiration and the changes that happens during that are good. Those who know what a blood pressure is are good. They can enjoy an extended lunch. Okay, so see you ladies then. Okay, girls, welcome back. Okay, ladies. Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Go ahead, yeah.
So I wrote down pressure gradient is inversely related to resistance, but in the book, it says
Uh-huh.
pressure gradient increases when resistance increases. So wouldn't that
No.
mean they're directly?
No, listen. Okay, dear. We can say it's okay if your pressure gradient is constant. Okay. Now, what it says in the book is if the pressure gradient increases, which may mean that okay, yes, if it is not constant. So pressure gradient will increase if either the flow increases or the resistance increases. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. But if we say that, okay, yes, the pressure gradient is constant, that may mean that, okay, let's say it's okay that the product of these two here will become 100, just to check an example. Clear? So if the flow increases, then you will have a decrease in resistance, which mainly makes flow and resistance inversely related. Did that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, girls. Now, as far as that topic called, that's okay. Venus hemodynamics. Don't really worry about that. Okay. Okay, girls. So just Hakuna Matata that one. Okay. Which mainly is okay, just brings us on to the next topic, which is going to be as okay, hydrostatic pressure. Now, ladies, practically or literally as okay, what the word hydro means is water. Okay. But here we just going to just okay, change that water and say, well, okay, not really water, but blood. Now your hydrostatic pressure, girls, is not going to be, that is not your blood pressure. The hydrostatic pressure is going to be an additional pressure on the blood due to, so doesn't mean it's okay, what's going to is okay, exert the hydrostatic pressure. Because it's okay, it means it's going to be it's okay, an increased pressure. Okay, an additional pressure. Okay, so that's an increased pressure. Okay, due to the, we can say it's okay, the weight of the blood. Okay, Now, ladies, normally when we measure a blood pressure, okay, we measure it somewhere here by the elbow. Now, why did they choose the elbow as a site to measure the blood pressure? Mainly because it's okay, that is going to be it's okay right at the same level of the heart. Is that clear? Which mainly means that, okay, yes, the blood pressure that we measure here is not going to be affected by hydrostatic pressure. So yes, okay, at this level here, there's no hydrostatic pressure because it is at the level of the heart. Whereas, okay, ladies, if we go to lower levels, like you can see the waist, at the waist, there's going to be as okay a hydrostatic pressure of 50, sorry, it's 50. 50. Okay, let's just rewrite that. That's going to be as okay a hydrostatic pressure of 50 millimeters of mercury. So if you, for instance, said that okay, up here is okay, we had measured blood pressure. Let's just focus on, let's say, the systolic blood pressures. We had 120. The blood pressure that we measured here is going to be 170. Why? Because another 50 milligrams of mercury was added, mainly as okay due to the weight of the column of the blood in the blood vessels. But this blood here actually is going to just okay add an extra weight of, it's going to just okay put on a extra 50 milligrams of mercury onto the blood pressure. Okay, where here is okay, the actual blood pressure is still 120. But there was an addition of 50 milligrams or 50 millimeters per of mercury, which is the hydrostatic pressure at the level of your waist. Is that clear? So this becomes just okay an additional. Now, if we go a little further down, that's okay. Let's say it's okay to the knee, to the angle level of the knees. Angle of the knees. Now, at the angle of the knees, that's okay. What we have is a hydrostatic pressure of 150 milligram, 70 millimeters of mercury. Okay, which is going to be greater as it was at the level of the waist. Why? Mainly because, okay, yes, we have a greater column of blood, applying as okay a greater pressure on the blood vessels. So if in the same person whose systolic blood pressure is okay, measure up here was 120, but if you measure that and he's at the level of his knees, that reading is actually going to be, yes, okay, 195. Where that extra 75 millimeters of mercury actually was due to the hydrostatic pressure at the knee. Is that clear? Well, it's okay. If that's the reading that we get, we will say, well, okay, we will have to subtract 75 millimeters of mercury to get the actual blood pressure, which is still going to be 120. Did that make sense? Whereas, okay, if you go all the way down to the ankle, now ladies, at the ankle, your level is, or you can say, okay, the hydrostatic pressure is going to be as okay 100 millimeters of mercury, which mainly will mean that okay, as the weight of the column of blood from heart all the way to the ankle is going to, yes, okay, exert an additional, yes, okay, 100 millimeters of mercury pressure on the blood vessels. So at this level here, yes, okay, for the same person whose blood pressure was, yes, okay, 120. We just, okay, just talk off the systolic blood pressure here, okay? Okay. But if you took a recording of the blood pressure, that's okay, at his ankle, the reading that we were going to get was going to be as okay 220. But where we can actually say, okay, that's extra 100 millimeters of mercury is due to just okay the hydrostatic pressure. Is that clear? Did you girls get that?
Yes.
Now, please keep in mind, ladies, this is only if the patient is standing up. Now, the question then is, okay, yes, what is going to be, let's say, yes, okay, the hydrostatic pressure at the level of his head. Now, here, yes, okay, at the level of his head, yes, okay, his or her hydrostatic pressure is going to be, yes, okay, minus 30 milligrams, oh, sorry, milligrams, sorry, millimeters of mercury. Okay, so yes, okay, if this person, yes, okay, is standing up, and we were to, yes, okay, measure his blood pressure at this level here, the reading that we will get if his blood pressure was 120 was going to be, yes, okay, 90. Which is okay, get his actual blood pressure is okay, we'll have to add 20, not 30 millimeters of mercury onto it to get the 120. Now, although in your book, or as okay in the text, it is not mentioned, but they ask about it as okay in one of the questions in the book, which is a little bit unfair. So we say, as okay, where somebody is okay, raise their hand like this. And you, for instance, okay, measure the blood pressure up here. Now we can say, it's okay, let's just do it this way and say, it's okay, where is going to be, it's okay, his or her hydrostatic pressure at this level here. The hydrostatic pressure at this level here is going to be as okay, minus 50 millimeters of mercury. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Okay, I'm confused. So you're mining the 50 from the 120?
The hydrostatic pressure is going to be minus 50. Clear? So if we actually, as okay, recorded a blood pressure here, at this point here, okay, if his hand is elevated, you are going to just okay get a blood pressure reading of 70 millimeters of mercury. Is that clear? Mainly because here at okay, it's at levels above the heart, at levels above the heart, there is no yes okay additional weight of the blood column on the blood vessels. Now, unfortunately, have anybody served in the army? No. Okay. And you probably never have been punished in school either, right? That is forbidden. Right?
Right.
Maybe it's about time. Okay, but just do this for an experiment. Keep your hands up like this for an XYZ amount of time. Two things will happen. First, or as okay, either. Your fingers will turn cold. The second thing that you will start feeling is that, okay, yes, your shoulders are going to become painful or achy. And why is that? Mainly because, okay, due to, you can say, it's okay, accumulation of blood in your shoulders. Because it sinks due to the effect of gravity. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So at that point, it's okay, if you measure your blood pressure up here by the ankles, or that's okay, that's okay, see at the elbows, is going to be lower than your actual blood pressure. Why? Because of a negative hydrostatic pressure. Whereas, okay, if you say anything, yes, okay, at any level below the heart, at any level below the heart, you will have a hydrostatic pressure. And what was that hydrostatic pressure mean? Yes, okay, just an additional pressure of the weight of the column of blood. Did that make sense? So the further down and down and down and down you go from the heart, yes, okay, the blood vessel, if you say, yes, okay, if we do it this way, we say this is the heart. We say, yes, okay, blood vessel goes like this. As we go further and further down, where is that going to be? There's going to be, it's okay, more and more and more and more and more and more blood in the blood vessel. You can mainly say, okay, this blood here adds on to the weight of this blood, which adds on to the weight of this blood, which adds on to the weight of this blood, which adds on to the weight of this blood, and so on. Where you mainly say, okay, down here is okay, that's where you have the greatest hydrostatic pressure. Where here, you can say, okay, there is no hydrostatic pressure. Whereas, okay, it's above the heart level. And lower, you can say lowest and low hydrostatic pressure. But please keep in mind, ladies, this is only if you are standing up. Okay? Because this column here actually is okay from the level of the heart. Okay? If, and now I say something, if you are laying down, this is any person, you can say it's okay lying down. And just okay, yes, so we know, okay, we can say it's okay, yes, we have raised his one of his arms, that's okay, above the head level. But mainly because all this here, and even this here, is at the same level as the heart. That may mean that, okay, as at your ankle, there is no hydrostatic pressure. At your knee, there is no hydrostatic pressure. At your waist, there is no hydrostatic pressure. Not to talk about, it's okay, at the level of your head. Well, okay, there's no hydrostatic pressure. And okay, yes, up here is okay, there is no hydrostatic pressure. Mainly because of no weight, or it's okay, due to pull of gravity effect on, that's okay, the blood vessels. Did that make sense? So the hydrostatic pressure, ladies, is mainly as okay, that's going to be as okay, and additional pressure due to the weight of the blood. But that's only as okay, only and only going to as okay be effective or as okay kick in if a patient is standing up. There you may say, okay, at any level, yes, okay, below the heart, you will have, okay, as a further increase of the hydrostatic pressure. Mainly because of a greater and greater and greater and greater weight of the blood. Whereas at any level, yes, okay, above the heart, you will have, yes, okay, negative hydrostatic pressures. Did that make sense? So that little fellow that you have on page 298, figure 18.9. That's okay, just remember all those different values. Or readings, or that's okay, hydrostatic pressures at the, what you want to call it, at the different levels. Did that make sense? And ladies, the reason that we measure is okay, ideally is okay, if we take a blood pressure, we use as okay, the elbow. Because it's okay, that falls right at the level of the heart. So it's not going to be as okay affected by hydrostatic pressure. Okay. Now you may say, yes, okay, what if we, yes, okay, have a patient who walks in, who may, yes, okay, be amputee. What do you do then? Yes, ladies. He doesn't have anything, or it's okay, he is missing his arms. Or what is left is okay, as above, as okay, the amputator above the elbow level. Ladies, then you can always use as okay, the popliteal artery to check his blood pressure. But if you do that as he is standing up, okay, you may, for instance, okay, get a reading of, let's say that's okay, 200. But then you will have to just, okay, subtract that 75. And you will get, okay, yes, the blood pressure actually is okay as 125. Had it been measured here. But we don't take popliteal blood pressures while the patient is standing up. And that's why it's okay we lay them down. And now if we measure the blood pressure here, or what I say is, okay, when they're laying down, it's okay, it doesn't really matter where you're measuring the blood pressure. That is not going to be as okay affected by the hydrostatic pressure. Because ladies, weight of the column goes like this. Not this. Because this weight is of the blood is actually okay due to gravity. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Or if it doesn't, When was the last time anybody ever went to, yes, okay, a circus? Nobody have ever been to a circus?
I have.
It's
Okay,
been years.
it's been years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't know, but okay, I remember it's okay. Once I was at a circus, they had that stunt of the human pyramid. That's okay. It may sound crazy, but there were actually that's okay. Two people standing on this man's shoulder, one on each. And then okay, yes, they had two people standing on their shoulders. That means okay, it just went up. Like this. Now, who is bearing most of the weight? This poor fellow here. Right? Why? Because, okay, he is bearing the weight of each of these persons here, each of these, and so on. Whereas this person here is okay, may only be this okay, the weight of these people. So this one here is okay, only be the weight of these. You can say then this one here is okay, he only bear the weights of these. And this one, okay, just bear the weight of these. Did that make any sense? Now please, yes, okay, because you will be tricked into, yes, okay, patient standing versus lying down. Now there may be, yes, okay, just two words that can be used for, yes, okay, lying down, which can be prone and supine. Now supine mainly as okay, would just mean that okay, as you are lying on your back. So if you're lying on your back, that's okay, you're looking up at the roof. So supine, that will be that. Whereas prone, well, okay, we can say it's okay, that's going to be as okay, lying on your stomach. And if you're lying on your stomach, well, okay, yes, you can say that's okay, that would be your butt. Or it's okay, you may be looking down like this. So if you're okay, not butt. So it's okay, your back is going to be facing upwards. But you're still lying. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so both of these, okay, prone and supine mainly as okay indicates that the lying down. And when the person is lying down, then you have no hydrostatic pressure. So it doesn't really matter where you measure the blood pressure. It's going to be as okay, the same as the actual blood pressure. It's only when a person is okay standing up that the blood pressure at just okay different levels or we can say, okay, the measured blood pressure at different levels is going to be affected by the hydrostatic pressure. Okay, so just watch out for things such as measure blood pressure. If you say, okay, if you measure the blood pressure here, the reading that we get here is going to be the measured blood pressure. Whereas, okay, as the actual blood pressure is going to be as, okay, the measured blood pressure subtracted from the hydrostatic pressure. Did you girls get that?
Can you say that one more again?
Say what again?
That what's in the blue?
You measure blood pressure. That's going to be pressure that you measured at this level here, which of course is going to be as okay affected by the hydrostatic blood pressure. So how do you get the actual blood pressure, which would have been the blood pressure up here? Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
I have a
Okay.
question.
just a segment here. Okay, which may mainly be that okay, as the measured blood pressure from which you mean is okay, we just subtract the hydrostatic blood pressure. That's what we just asked it.
Is arterial pressure the same as measured pressure?
No. The measured pressure, my dear, is just going to be as okay, the pressure that you measure. Or you can say it's okay, the reading that you get. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Clear? Okay. Now that reading may be high or low. All depended upon, yes, okay, where you took it. Or maybe, yes, okay, just equal to the actual blood pressure. Did that make sense?
I'm confused.
Why?
Because because I understand like the measure blood pressure is going to be subtracted by.
Okay, listen. You measure a thing, whatever you get, that's the measured blood pressure. Okay. And if we say, oh, why should I do that? We already did it here. These readings here are your measured blood pressures. Did that make sense? If the person's actual blood pressure was this. Did you get that?
Yeah.
So this is his actual blood pressure. So if you measure, yes, okay, a total of 170, but we want to find out, yes, okay, what his actual blood pressure is, we will have to subtract the hydrostatic pressure from it. Same here. This was the blood pressure that we measured at the level of the knee. Right? This was the
Yes.
blood pressure that we got. But we want just, okay, find his actual blood pressure. That's when we subtract the hydrostatic pressure from it. So we get, okay, yes, 120. Likewise, here's okay, at the angle, yes, okay, this is your measured blood pressure. So here's okay, we just subtract the hydrostatic pressure, which was 100 millimeters per mercury. And it gives us, okay, as a actual reading of the blood pressure, which is 120. Did that make sense? So these is okay, extra 50 millimeters, 75 millimeters, 100 millimeters of mercury. Where did they come from? From the increasing, or more, yes, okay. Weight of the column of blood. Did that make sense?
Yes.
If a person is standing up and you're measuring his or her blood pressure at any level except the elbow or by your brachial artery, those readings or measurements that you get are going to be affected by the hydrostatic pressures. Did that make sense? Or are you still confused?
No, I get it. So basically, that's for just standing up. That has nothing to do with being laying down, right?
No, if you're lying down, it doesn't really matter whether you measure the blood pressure at the level of the head. If he had, for instance, okay, raised his hand up, level of the head is going to be okay around the elbow or at the wrist or around his waist or around his knees or around his ankle. If the person is lying down, it's okay. There's no column or weight of column of blood, which may mean that there will be no hydrostatic pressure. And that's why I say it's okay. Be watchful because it's okay. That's only going to be it's okay when you're lying down or standing up. Because they may say, okay, a patient is in a prone position or in a supine position. In that case, that's okay. You can say it's okay. It doesn't really matter wherever it's okay. All the measured pressures are going to be equal to the actual blood pressure. That makes sense.
Yes.
Because ladies, gravity goes like this. And gravity is actually okay, what many people it's okay may consider as weight. And that's why it's okay if you are standing up for okay extended periods of time. You may start going like, okay, not necessarily it's okay, but you may start feeling a little bit lightheaded. Why? Mainly because that's okay, most of your blood, that's okay, under the influence of gravity, that's okay, sinks towards your legs. If any of you, that's okay, followed, that's okay, the Queen's funeral, you might have seen that, okay, as a lot of soldiers, that's okay, collapsed. Why? Because they were standing still. That plus, that's okay, those uniforms are not meant to be worn, yes, okay, during summer days. Okay. But it's okay, they had to do it for, it's okay, out of respect for the Queen. Not that the Queen was going to say anything, but anyways, because she was dead. Yeah. Did that make sense? So you have some questions, that's okay, related to your hydrostatic pressures. Okay. Now you can take that as okay as a homework task to do those. And we just give me a sec. Is that clear? Is that clear, girls?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as promised, when we started this chapter, we said phasic flow was the flow in veins, right? Right?
Yes.
Good. And what we said that, okay, as phasic flow was controlled by was respiration. Right?
Yes.
Good. Now, when we say respiration, we had two phases of respiration. We had what we can call inspiration. And we have, yes, okay, what we can call expiration. Okay. Now, ladies, well, this was your diaphragm. Now, what were the two things that happened when you inspired?
Your chest expands.
Okay, good. We can say it's okay, there's going to be it's okay expansion of the chest. Good. What's next? Yes, ladies. What's next? What else happens when you breathe in? The chest expands, okay. What else? The diaphragm goes from that dome-shaped. So we can mean says okay that is going to be it's okay descend the diaphragm. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good. Now you can say it's okay both as expansion of the chest and as a descend of okay as expand is okay the diaphragm. Where is that going? That is going to lead to yes okay decreased intrathoracic pressure. Now we know that okay, that was going to be the decreased pressure in the lungs, so yes, okay, air will go into the lungs. But right now, yes, okay, our point of interest is not really about the air. Right now, we are talking about yes, okay, blood flow in the veins. But mainly, yes, okay, due to reduced pressure inside the chest. We can also say yes, okay, that there will be yes, okay, reduced pressure in the blood vessels or the major veins in the chest. And what that actually is okay will lead to is going to be as okay an increased venous return. So when you breathe in, we can mean it as okay that there's going to be more blood returning back to the heart. Especially as okay via your superior vena cava and so on. So did that make sense?
Yes.
Good. Now we can mainly say as okay primarily due to yes okay the descending diaphragm as you inhale. What's going to happen? There's going to be as okay an increased intra-abdominal pressure. Why? Mainly because okay your diaphragm actually is okay pushes down. Okay, it pushes down, and it means okay, it pushes onto yes okay the structures in the abdomen. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now, what those structures in the abdomen is going to do is was okay due to yes, okay, this increased intra-abdominal pressure. Generally, yes, okay, the pressure inside the abdomen, yes, okay, increases because it's being pushed. You can mean it's okay, that pressure is going to yes, okay, get onto yes, okay, the veins. Especially things such as okay, you're gonna see a vena cava, and so on and so. And what that will lead to is that there's going to be as okay, reduced velocity of blood. And okay, as your lower blood vessels here. Did that make sense?
So it reduces the velocity of blood going towards like your waist down?
No.
No,
Why waist down?
because it looks like you're coming.
No. Are you kidding right now? What does veins do?
And carry the blood away.
Away from here.
The heart. No, it's not.
From the lungs.
In what direction does the veins carry the blood?
It carries it back to the heart.
Back to the heart. So blood coming from your feet where's that going to go?
Back up. It's gonna carry the blood
Exactly.
back.
This indicates a decreased, but the blood flow is going to be as okay in this direction. Okay, but it's going to flow with a lower speed, mainly due to yes, okay, a greater pressure on the blood vessels, or sorry, your veins in the abdomen. Why? Due to yes, okay, the increased pressure in the abdomen. Why is there a greater pressure in the abdomen? Mainly because the diaphragm descended from that dome shape, straighten out. Did that make sense? Did that make sense?
Yes, it did.
So that's what happens during inspiration. When you breathe in. What's going to happen in expiration?
The
All right.
sorry. You asked the question, what happens during expiration? I would say the velocity would increase. Maybe.
I just say it's okay. This was okay as when we had okay as a full inspiration. Now yes, okay. We can say it's okay. The chest is just not going to collapse, but okay, as the expansion that it had undergone is going to, it's okay, get back. Okay. Are going to okay, become unexpanded. The diaphragm, which was straightened, is going to just okay, retain that dome shape. Now, what would that lead to? That will mainly lead to, yes, okay, that there was going to be, yes, okay, an increased intrathoracic pressure. And that increased intrathoracic pressure is just going to, yes, okay, lead to a reduced venous return. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Then what about, yes, okay, here? The velocity in these veins. Well, okay, let's just start from the abdomen. Because we can say it's okay, mainly because it's okay, because the abdomen, the diaphragm ascends. There is going to be, yes, okay, a reduced intra-abdominal pressure. The pressure inside the abdomen is going to decrease. Why? Because now the diaphragm is not pushing on the structures in the abdomen, because it goes up and reattains that dome shape appearance. That because, okay, there's a great increase in, okay, the pressure inside the thoracic cavity. So due to that, there will be, yes, okay, a lesser pressure on the veins. And that is going to cause that, okay, as we will have an increased velocity in the veins. Okay. So that's the opposite of what happened in inspiration is going to happen in expiration. Because one is going to be a really collapse. You get a collapse of the expanded chest. Second was ascent of the diaphragm. Oh, yes, okay, that your chest goes from like that expansion down, reduces the area of the chest. And what's the relationship between area and pressure? They are inversely related. So smaller area, greater pressure. So you will have an increase in the interthoracic pressure. As far as respiration is concerned, that's what's going to push the air out from the lungs. But that increased pressure inside the thoracic cavity is actually going to cause that there will be a reduced venous return. Especially okay, from the areas like okay, from your superior vena cava and things like that. Whereas okay, as on the other hand, the pressure inside the abdomen decreases as the diaphragm ascends back into that dome shape. That may cause okay, the pressure inside your abdominal cavity is reduced, which mainly will mean that okay, as whatever excess pressure there was, okay, see the pressure that you had on okay, as the veins that just okay was taking the blood back to the heart is reduced, And okay, as the blood is going to be able to flow with a greater velocity. That makes sense. So an easy way to, yes, okay, remember all this here is, well, okay, just remember either of them. You say, okay, I just want you to remember, it's okay, what happens during inspiration. The complete opposite is going to happen during expiration. Did that make sense? Or did that make it easier?
Yeah, kind of.
Right, okay. And ladies, that's why I told you, yes, okay, read on your respiration or inhalation and exhalation before we jump into this. So what was the difference between arteries and veins? Well, okay, the only thing that they had in similar were they were blood vessels. Arteries are blood vessels that carries blood from the heart to the organs, whereas veins are blood vessels that carries blood from the organs back to the heart. Right? Most arteries carries oxygen-rich blood, except from your pulmonary arteries. Most vein carries oxygen-poor blood, except from your pulmonary veins. Arteries has pulse. Or what is it that we have? We have a pulsatile flow. In the arteries, whereas veins does not have pulses. What was it that veins had then? And that would be Dr. Munoz. That will tell me what the veins have that the arteries don't have.
Deoxygenated blood?
No,
I don't remember.
you don't remember. Is there anybody that remember what the veins have?
They have that little flappy thing. Those little vein things. I don't know what they're called.
Little vein things? Okay,
They
that
open
thing
my
that
clothes. I
they
don't remember
gotta
what
have a
they're
name,
called.
right?
Yes, they do have a name. I can't remember the
I think must have a name.
name.
Are they valves?
It's valves.
Valves. Thank you, Haley.
Right, okay, it's valves.
Yes.
V for vein, V for valves. Okay. And it was the function of those valves to mainly as okay, we can say it's okay, assist with the return of blood. Because okay, veins have thin walls, which was not strong enough to, you can say, okay, pump the blood towards the heart. So it needs assistance from, yes, okay, prime, yes, okay, the valves to prevent the blood from falling back. And especially as okay in your legs It's okay, your muscles in the legs, the motion of those helps with the return of the venous blood. Okay, goes. And so and so and so and so. Veins generally, as okay, compared to arteries, are low blood pressure vessels. We can also now say that, okay, as generally as okay, comparing arteries to veins as okay, you will have a lower velocity in the veins than in the arteries. Which is mainly as okay, due to as okay, the arteries being having a small lumen or passage. Their veins have a big lumen or passage. Okay. Yes, ladies. So that was all that I could offer for chapter 18. Okay. Now you have some reading to do. Because, okay, a lot of the things, or especially that's okay, this stenosis material here is going to just okay be brought up again in chapter 19. Okay. Which will be starting by tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be as okay start for chapter 19. So yes, okay, please read through chapter 18. Any questions you have, please direct them to me, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Not Lauren, not Ravish. They will not be able to answer you. Okay. Okay, girls. So see you ladies tomorrow. And have fun. Now, did you guys receive an email yesterday? Some of you might have. No,
Yes.
you have. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Pertaining to what?
Pertaining to what?
Yeah, are you,
You should check the email, my dear. I think you have been getting emails from, probably not you, my dear. Not you either, sorry.
oh, okay.
You are not in that list. And Lauren has been, yes, okay, sending you guys emails before the vacation started, during the vacation, and even as late as yesterday. So if you haven't responded, then okay, yes. It's up to you.